Hello, everyone, and welcome to the world of Audra Pearl. It's my world, and I'm so happy you're here. So tonight we have a lovely special guest. She is a musician. I believe she's a recording artist, and I can't wait to hear about her music career because she sounds very fascinating. So give it up for Brazy Luca. How are you doing, Queen?
I'm good. I'm good. It's Brazy Luca,
Oh,
so
Brazy
that way
Luca.
everybody is
Pardon me.
aware. It's okay. It happens all the time. It's cool.
They messed up my name too. They call me Asia. I'm like, no, it's Audra.
Yeah. See, it's common. It's common. It happens. It's okay. It's cool. It's just so that people know that your name is your name whenever they say it. That's all good.
Yeah. All right, so tell us how you always wanted to go into music.
Yes, I actually I've kind of always been a part of music. When I was young, I was always in the studio with my dad. He was producing beats and also rapping as well. And so that's kind of what got me into the mode of music. But at the time I was so shy that I wasn't thinking about doing it for myself. So
Mhm.
I just kind of was in the behind the scenes, like kind of pretty much just listening to other artists and kind of seeing what the scene was about. But I already know that hip hop is for the culture, and that's what I want to be a part of. And so now it's pretty much like, hey, in 2019 I realized, like, I'm getting older, music is a love of mine, so why not go for it? And that's pretty much what I did.
And see, that's what this podcast is all about. This is about people chasing their dreams and not putting it on the shelf to collect dust and
Hmm.
singing the shoulda, coulda, woulda song. I mean, this is
Yes.
why, right? This is why God gives us these gifts. He gives us these gifts to utilize and to share with the world. So He gave you the gift of music, and
Hmm.
now you're utilizing that gift and sharing it with the world. So I think that's beautiful.
Yes.
So you said that you want to be part of you chose hip hop as your genre.
Hmm.
Did you grow up listening to hip hop?
I did. Hip hop has just always been a part of, what I've listened to. Like, even growing up, watching TV and looking up to people. I looked up to Aaliyah. I looked up to Missy. I looked up to Eve. All these, amazing people. Left Eye. And so I was just like, dang, like, I want to be like them. I want to be able to, improve the world. I want to be able to send a message to people. And at first I thought that that was the best way for me to do that was through modeling, because I always loved fashion, and that's where I started. And then now I was just like, you know what, I can't really talk through modeling, but I can, like, display a picture. But
Right.
during music, you actually get to hear my voice, you get to hear, what I want to talk about. So
Right.
that is probably the best way for me to go, and I love music, so.
And I think that's great because it's important that people, especially guys, know
Hmm.
that we women, us girls, are not just a pretty face. We do have these talents like singing and rapping.
Hmm.
Um, and it's funny you mentioned women in hip hop because I grew up in the 1980s, and I grew up listening to MC Light, Queen Latifah,
Hmm.
and Salt and Pepper, and Moni
Yeah.
Love, and stuff like that. And I think rap hip hop has always been an all boys club,
Hmm.
and we have many, 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 many. Right now it's 2022, and we have a lot of female rappers
Yes.
that has shattered that glass ceiling, and I
Hmm.
think it's amazing. Like I said, MC Light, Queen Latifah, Salt
Yes.
and Pepper,
All
the
queens.
Trailblazers,
All queens in the game.
absolutely. And I think the one who made the glass explode was Little Kim.
Hmm.
Now, even though I don't care for Little Kim, but there's one thing I do appreciate that she done. She has given female rappers permission to to be sexy.
Right.
That is nothing wrong with for a woman to be sexy because it's like that because it's like before, if a woman was sexy or showing some skin, she was considered a hoe.
Yes.
That's not true. It's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong with a woman expressing her sexuality and expressing her womanhood. And it's an empowerment. For some, it's empowerment. Others, it's
Yes.
for attention. But you know, for Little Kim, it was for, I want to say it was for empowerment. And ever since then, you have female rappers that's showing off their sexuality as well as their talent.
Yes.
So do you agree that female artists are like that, or there's some that's like being told to dress a certain way when they know that they're not comfortable that way?
Um, I'm gonna say is a little bit of both. I feel like some in the major world, a lot of people say that sex sells pretty much.
Right,
So of course they want to do that because that's gonna sell their records. That's gonna do certain things. But at the same time, like us being women, we want to also be able to display ourselves and show that we're also, we can be sexy, but we don't have to be sexy all the time. You know what I
right.
mean? So there's a way to be able to display that, I mean, without people saying is well, I can't say that there is a way to display that you want to be sexy sometimes and you don't want to be sexy sometimes, because some people are gonna everybody is gonna have a different opinion of you, regardless of if you care or not. They're gonna have an opinion of what you wear, they're gonna have an opinion of what you say. Is I mean, the world is, although we're supposed to have free speech, you really can't have a free speech now, so everything is just kind of crazy, especially with wearing what you want. You can't really wear what you want. I mean, I have tried to wear like different things, and what I do is I wear it because I want to wear it, not because
Right.
the next person says, "Oh, well, you should wear this or wear that." If I don't like it, I'm not gonna wear it.
Hmm.
Whatever I wear on stage is what I feel like is gonna connect that day. If not, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I decided to put it on. I'm gonna wear it on the stage, and whoever likes it, they like it. Whoever don't, they don't. They got something to say about it. They didn't buy it, so I don't really care.
Yeah, I think it's always like that, whether it's hip hop or pop or anything like that. And a lot of music, music artists have been scrutinized, especially the females. I'm speaking of the females. They have been scrutinized, especially what they wear on stage. Prime example, Britney Spears. Now,
Yeah.
she started off as, being, I think she was 16, 17 years old. She was a teenager when she got started.
Hmm.
And a lot of people, especially the moms, had a lot of opinions of what she was wearing on stage. They were
Hmm.
like, "Oh, how could she wear something like that? She's 17 years old. She's setting a bad example." And it's like, it's entertainment.
Right.
It's entertainment. And Britney does not usually dress like that. I
Right.
mean, come on.
When you
And
see her
then,
every day, she's wearing regular clothes just like everybody else. Whenever
right,
you're on stage, you have to present yourself a certain type of way. So
exactly.
I don't think people think about that a lot of the times. They think about, oh well, this and that. I mean, they just someone always got something to say, but that's why I say
Hmm.
entertainment is entertainment. People
Right.
don't understand that this is a whole industry in itself. So
Hmm.
when it comes to it, if you go out there and you wear, ripped up jeans and a dirty shirt, you're not gonna get anything. You're not gonna get anything done. You're not gonna be seen. They're not gonna pay attention to you because you're not bringing anything to the table. But once you glam up and do certain things, then regardless of this bad press or good press, they're paying attention.
Right.
So you know,
Yeah, and you're right. Everyone's going to have an opinion about something. I mean, we cannot stop that. It's going to be negative, positive, or indifferent. People going to say what they're going to say, but I don't think people should define people's people's opinions about them.
hmm,
That they shouldn't let that define them.
right.
They should go with their heart, and like if they feel a certain way about a certain outfit, wear that outfit.
Hmm.
You're not wearing it for them. You're wearing it for you.
Work for you. Yeah. I mean, I definitely pride myself in that because I've heard some people be like, "Oh, I wonder why she wear." I walk outside sometimes and I wear what I want to wear, and then
Hmm.
I hear somebody say, "Oh, I wonder why she wearing that." It could be a hot day and I'm wearing boots. Guess what? I wanted to wear these boots today, so
Right. I mean, you're not hurting nobody.
Right. Like, leave me alone. Like, I'm wearing the boots. You're not putting them on. So why are you worried about what I'm wearing? You know, so
Exactly.
at the end of the day, I mean, that's just the world. The world just is opinionated. And
Hmm.
like I said, they're gonna say what they want, but at the end of the day, they're not the one wearing it. They're not the ones buying it. So, I'm gonna do me.
Exactly. Exactly. Um. Um. Okay. So you mentioned Aaliyah
Yes.
earlier.
Hmm.
Um. Oh, what? And I don't know if this is a personal question, but feel free to answer. But what age did you get started in the music business?
With music,
Yeah.
um, oof, man, I'm gonna say 12. I started like just dabbling in music, but I never really actually started till about 2.5, 3 years ago. Like, I used to write like little freestyles here and there. I write Nicki Minaj, like she was somebody that I looked up to. Also, so it's just like I really just did it because I just loved it, but I didn't do it to show it to anybody because I was just like I was very shy and timid. So it just like why would I want to show it for somebody to talk about me? You know what I mean? And it's so much that people can talk about. Like I've always been like really shy also about my body because I had open heart surgery when I was 5. And
Hmm.
a lot of people don't know that. So whenever they see the scar, they be like, what's wrong with her? You know what I mean? And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I've been through some things. You know what I mean? And so it's just like I'm gonna continue to do what I love because at the end of the day, I didn't have to be here. You know what I mean? Nobody had to be here, but
Right.
I'm here because obviously I have a purpose, and I'm going to pursue that purpose. And part of that purpose is me doing music, so I'm here to do that.
Great. Great. So you also mentioned that you were going to the music studio with your dad. Would,
Yeah.
would you say your dad was a big influence, and like was he like your biggest cheerleader, or was he a cheerleader in your music?
My dad actually did not know that I was doing music at all. Like,
Oh.
it was a secret that was kept from me and whoever I was doing music with, because it was like I didn't want, like I said, I didn't want people to have a opinion of me.
Right.
And whenever my dad did find out, he was just like, she's not taking this serious. He didn't think I was really taking it serious at first, and then after a while he was like, oh, she's really taking this serious. She's doing shows, she's doing this, she's doing that. Now he's like, now he is one of my biggest cheerleaders, and I'm appreciative of that because I watched him. You know what I mean? And I
Hmm.
mean, it's great. It's great that I have people who have history in this. But one of my greatest cheerleaders is my husband because he's been there from the very beginning. He saw the potential in me when nobody else saw the potential in me. So, that's the great thing about it.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful that you have a partner that that supports you 110%. And it's funny you say that because I had another visitor who said that well, he does voiceovers, and he
Hmm.
said that his wife was a huge support for him when he does his voiceovers and his acting and all that. And I think it's very important that you have a partner or spouse that supports your dream.
Hmm.
I think it's very important because I know a lot of people, especially wives or girlfriends, that have this dream and they want their partner to support them, but their partner's like, why are you doing that? You should be doing this.
Hmm.
There's no future in that, and it's really really sad because it's like, well, I thought I thought you like was attracted to me, and I thought you was attracted to the fact that I
Hmm.
have goals and ambitions. Like, you don't want a woman like that. Like, I mean, it's like if that's not if I'm not the woman you're looking for, then why are you with me? Are you
Hmm.
looking to tear me down? Are you looking to say, you know, I'm in that you're more important than my dreams? I mean, that's not true. I mean, my dreams and you are important, but it's important that you support your dream just as much as I support your dream. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's beautiful that your partner, your spouse
Yeah.
supports you.
I
and
mean,
you finished the same one.
it's not rare that that happens though. It's not rare that that you don't have a support system that's backing you up, especially with family, with husband or wife or whatever. It's not a rare thing because it happens all the time. But it is rare when you do have that loved one who is there stick and has your back. Um, so I'm very appreciative. Like I said, he's actually my manager. And he just like, I'm trying to tell you now, I'm warning you, certain things is not right. You're not gonna do it. So and I pride in that because sometimes you could be with a person and then they just put you in crazy situations, and he's just not that type of person. So I'm really glad about that.
Well, that's good. It's good. It's also he's looking out for your best interests at heart, and he's looking out for your safety because there are some, you know, managers that will put their that will put their wives or their girlfriends into these crazy situations, and it's detrimental to the artist.
Right.
They don't care. They just see dollar signs and they're like,
Yep.
oh well, she'll do it. She'll do it.
And didn't even ask the artist first. They just
Right.
automatically say they're gonna do something, and the artists don't know until it's that day, and then they're like, "Oh, you have to do this," and you're like, "Why do I have to do it?"
Mm-hmm.
Because they already done made that arrangement for you, and you're like, "Dang, like you could have at least said something to me. Like now I got to do something that I really didn't want to do, or maybe they had something else arranged that they can't
Mm-hmm.
do now because they were told at the last minute." So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But it's a good thing you're not in that situation. So, hallelujah, praise God. um. So, do you still do songwriting? Do you write songs? Do you write the
Yeah, I
songs?
do. I do write songs. I also have writers that I have writing sessions with other writers as well. To help you got to keep your creative juices flowing at all times. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
just me not having those writing sessions, that doesn't help me because I like to be inspired. I like to be stimulated. I like to be challenged, and I can't challenge myself. uh, I mean, I can, but it'll be a little difficult. But I feel like when I'm around those people who are also inspiring me, that helps me make more and more and more. And when I don't, I mean, I kind of tend to. I also went through a um what is it called, a writer's block for a couple of years where I could
Right.
not write at all, and I was just like, dang, like this is real. Like writer's block is real where you don't
Right. I know. I know.
like you
Cause
can't
I also I
think
write
on
books. So
anything.
yeah.
So I had to find my own inspiration. I had to, I had to really just get into it, and my kids helped me out of that as well. Cause at a time where my son, he was in the hospital, I did not realize that he was in hospital for like 3 months because he had to end up having to get surgery just like me.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he got that surgery, we had to go back and forth to the hospital with him for about 3 months. And when I
Mm-hmm.
did that, I found out that I had postpartum depression while in the hospital with him.
Wow.
Ended up shaking, going through some crazy stuff, and then they're like, "You have postpartum depression." I didn't even know it, and so that had also had me in a scare. It's just so many things that I've been through in life that taught me that I have to live life now because I don't know what's going to happen 3, 5 years from now. People
Mm-hmm.
are leaving this earth as we speak. You know what I mean? And then
Right.
they didn't even know that it was going to happen. So you have to live life now and, just try to leave your impact on the world.
Right. I totally agree. I totally agree. And I think it's very important that we leave some kind of an imprint of ourselves before we die. Leave some kind of imprint. Leave some kind of imprint. If we can inspire
Hmm.
one person, we done something.
Yep. And
And
that's what that's the goal, is the goal to inspire one person at a time, and I mean, if you get a big cluster, that's great, but one person at a time is the best method. Thank
so can you say that? your music has been an inspiration for certain people, or the people who listen to your music?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that I do inspire a lot of people. I have people who contact me all the time and they say, "Hey, you have inspired me to go and do this, or to get back into school, or to do this because I didn't think I was gonna be able to do it." And I'm just like, that's great. Like, I appreciate you coming to me because now that inspires me more to inspire other people. So just somebody else's inspiration helps me to want to inspire other people.
And that's amazing. And I totally feel you on that because, like I said, I'm a writer and I write books. And people come to me and say, this particular character, I can relate to this particular character because, such and such and such and such.
Hmm.
And, I feel that whether you're composing, whether you're composing music or writing a book, and that person listens, either listens to your music or listens to you read a book or reads the book or whatever, and they find inspiration, and it touches their heart in some way, shape, or form.
Hmm.
I think it's amazing, and I think it's impactful, and it's like, wow, I did something.
Yep.
I touched somebody, and they felt it, and it was in and they were inspired by what I said. Like, for example, like, I know that when I was, not to get personal, but I know that when I was in my abusive relationship about 10 years ago,
Hmm.
I listened to Katy Perry's Firework.
Yes, this is a great song.
I'm like, because I was like in a dark, dark, dark place, and I would listen to it, and it would just bring tears to my eyes because I'm like I am this person, but
Hmm.
how do I get out of it? You know,
Right.
when will this happen? But it gave me hope, and it made me have faith that things were going to get better, and it did get better.
Hmm. But I feel like music definitely can put you in a mood and
Hmm.
it can take you out of, it can take you out of a situation, but it can also put you into a situation depending on what type of music you're listening to, and the vibes that are bringing forth. So you have some music that are dark, that's dark, but it's not, that you didn't realize was as dark as it was until you
Hmm.
started listening to it over and over again.
Yeah.
And then you got some music that will bring you out of, a depressing state, or that will just, make you just be happy. You're just happy all the time because you're listening to it. So I mean, I like the fact that my music brings great vibes, but it doesn't make people want to hurt themselves. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
I would never want anybody to hurt themselves behind my music. That would be crazy. you
Yeah.
know so
And speaking of which, there was a case years ago. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but there was this rock group called Judas Priest, and they had this song. I forgot the name of the song, but the situation was, it was these two kids. They were listening to the song over and over and over and over and over again, and they thought the song had subliminal messages of killing yourself.
mm,
So one kid did kill himself, you know, by because the song said "do it, do it, do it,"
mm-hmm.
and then another kid injured himself and ended up in a wheelchair. And Judas Priest was under attack for putting subliminal messages and
Mm-hmm.
telling people to commit suicide.
Right.
So what got them acquitted was that the lead singer sung this particular verse in that song, and come to find out, it never said it. It never said that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It turns out that these two kids were severely depressed, and they
Mm-hmm.
were under um they were doing, I believe they were doing drugs. Well, they were
Right.
doing drugs, but I think they were doing mushrooms or something like that. But they
Mm-hmm.
were they were on drugs. Like,
When you say that, it makes me feel some type of way because it's like, how did these kids get the time without their parent knowing to listen to a song like that over and over again and a get or hear anything like that, and without them saying, "Oh, I don't think you should listen to this." You know what I mean?
Well,
Like it's, but I don't know what their ages were either.
they
So
were, I believe they were in their teens. They were
mhm.
teenagers, and I think they, I think, I think it's because they had parents that were absentee parents, or the parents that they worked so much, they completely not pay no mind to what the kids are feeling. I think it's one of, I think or maybe they didn't have any parents, they were just living with another relative that didn't give a
Yeah,
damn about them. I mean, there's so many reasons why they did what they did,
right. And
but
some children, they don't feel like they have anybody to talk to.
right,
And so sometimes they'll go to school and talk to somebody, or they don't talk to anybody at all, and those are the situations that they're in. But I tell my kids all the time. I said, no matter how you're feeling, you come to me every single time. You tell me how you're feeling. Even
right,
when they come home from school, I say, how was your day? Even, and when they're not at home, when they wake up, I'm like, how did you sleep? Because you never know. Like our kids are, they're being attacked everywhere. So
yeah,
you have to make sure that you're in the know of what they're feeling and how they're doing, because they could be going through something that they don't feel like telling you about because you never asked.
yeah.
You
And
know.
see, music was my outlet when I was
Mhm.
a teenager. It was my outlet because I was going through so much. Um, I, I, I couldn't go to my parents because I didn't think they would understand. So, and I couldn't go to anybody else. The only person I knew that kind of understood what I was going through was my aunt.
Mhm.
But otherwise, I listened to music because music was my escape. And I had, you know, this was like back in the '90s when they had the headphones on and the Walkman and all that stuff. So, showing my age, but anyway. um, but yeah, I listened to a lot of music, whether it was about love or heartbreak, or whether I was just I whether it was just or party music or anything like that. Whatever mood I was in, music spoke to me. And till this day it's like that. Music speaks to me. And there are some people who that are like that. Music speaks to them in a way other people can't speak to them. It's like music is their therapist, and music is the only thing that can understand how they feel. So all right. So have you done any concerts within the US? Have you done any concerts outside the US?
I have not done any outside of the U.S., but I have definitely done concerts in the U.S.
Okay.
So
Like any big events have you done?
I've done recently. I've done Go Crazy Festival. That was this past month, not in June, but in May. And then I also have done Hip Hop Ladder Festival, Brooklyn Unity Festival. I've done a couple of big festivals that I was headlining, um, and I enjoyed myself. I brought my talent to the table, and I think that's how a lot of people ended up seeing me on stages, because I post. I like to post a lot of my shows and stuff like that on my Instagram. I've noticed that some artists don't, but I do, because I feel like that's one of my best assets is bringing the show. So I like to post up, my shows, or at least a little snippet of that, so that people can see that I'm working. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, and then a lot of times I'm not gonna lie, like I'm always like listening, having my music in my ear, and trying to figure out what my next move is. So I mean, I'm always like thinking about the next thing, and some people don't understand me. Like when they see me at my shows, they see me with my headphones in. I'm like, I'm listening to my
I'm
soundtrack.
in the zone. I'm in the
I'm
zone.
always in the zone, because I mean, there's always something that happens during the show, like somebody's energy can bring me off. You know what I mean? And I mean that's weird for me. I mean, not weird. It's weird for some people, but it's not weird to me because energy can make or break my day. And you know,
Mhm.
I try to keep my energy up as much as possible. And so like with shows, like I love doing shows. A lot of people have actually reached out about shows that I have still yet to get back to because I'm working on my lives right now, and as well as new music that I have coming out. I'm working on an EP as well as some other things along with mixtapes and other songs that I'm gonna be putting out soon. So it's a lot just happening.
Mhm.
I'm just working one day at a time and putting out what I want to put out at that time because you can't give too much at a time, so you don't want to overload people now, so
Oh no, I know, no, it's yeah. Can't overload yourself. You need to spread yourself out because if you overload yourself, you just gonna. It's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be pretty, and yeah, a lot of artists have done that, and it hasn't worked out for them so well. Put it like that. So,
hmm.
do you have any aspirations of performing outside of the country?
Most definitely. I've had a couple of offers for outside of the country. I just haven't because COVID was around, and then now we're still in COVID. To be honest, I just feel like COVID is still around.
Hmm.
I have family members who have recently gotten COVID, so I'm just like kind of scared because I don't want to go into a situation where I can't come back home,
Right.
and I don't also want to go into a situation that I can't get out of because I don't know anybody there. So
Exactly.
I pride myself in security. Like if I don't feel secure, I'm not gonna go for it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because I have kids to come back home to. I have
Hmm.
a husband to make sure that I'm still working. Um and that we're all working together to make sure things are happening. So
Right.
I cannot just put myself in any situation. So I mean, in the near future, I do plan on doing some things outside of the U.S., but I just want to make sure that it's right, before I do that.
Okay. So, what countries would you are you like? What countries would you love to do a performance in? Like,
I would love to do something in France, Greece. Um, Man, I mean, honestly, all of them. I would love to do something in all of them, to be honest. But um, London, most definitely. I want to go to the UK. I feel like people would love me over there. I want
I
to
think so
definitely.
too.
I mean, well, I do know that some people. I mean, I've noticed that I have a fan base in certain areas and things like that. UK is one of them, and also Africa, Nigeria. They listen to my music as well.
Cool.
I mean, it's so many places that listen to my music, but there's places that I want to see for myself. Like I want to know if they are what people say they are. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, so I just want to be able to like I said, I want to impact the world. Like I want to be able to see it for myself before I say anything about it. And people talk about things they have never seen before, and I don't ever want to be in a position where I talk about something I don't really know about.
Right.
So, and I also I want to do different things. Like I want to be on mogul status. Like I want to bring makeup lines. I want to have fashion lines. Like I
Yeah.
just it's so many things that I want to do. I'm just trying to find the right people to help me put those pieces together. And
Mhm.
it's coming. It's coming. So you know, just know y'all gonna be seeing a whole lot coming up.
Watch
So
out now.
watch out because it's coming. I'm just putting pieces together, and if that's you and you want to collaborate, let's do it. So
You hear that, y'all? She's looking to collaborate with makeup and a fashion line. She's about it. She's
yes,
let's
like
do it.
hairlines, like whatever you think that I might be interested in, bring it to me. I mean, I just want to lead, but I want to also have something to say. Okay, I put my imprint on that, and I'm bringing it to people. that love it. You know what I mean? So that's my goal. My well, I have a
Awesome.
whole lot of goals. I'm gonna get them accomplished. You know, one day at a time.
Awesome. 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 Um, yeah, I too have a lot of I too wear a lot of hats. Like I do this podcast. I'm an author. I have a jewelry line, a jewelry brand, and a cookie business. And so yeah, yeah, my
Yes,
hand is in everything.
yes. Ladies of many hats, queens, queens, queens. I mean, I just feel like it. Some people stop at one thing because they don't want to, multitask, or they don't feel like they can do all of those things. But I just feel like if you're here and you're able and your body willing and able to do something, do it, because you never know like what you can do if you don't set your mind to something.
Mhm.
Then of course you're never gonna know. But if you do it, then guess what? You'll know whether or not you did it or not. And guess what? At least you know you did it.
Right, and
If
you'd
you
be
fail,
amazed.
you fail. But if you prosper, you prosper in it.
Right.
But that's why I said I'm glad that I actually took this leap of faith and did this, because if it wasn't for me taking that leap of faith and going and doing the first song that
Hmm.
I put out, I would never be here right now talking to you. So,
Right. Right.
you
And it's
know,
and it's all about that leap of faith. Yes, that leap of faith is the unknown, and it's a gamble. But you know what? At least you can say you did it. You know,
right.
at least you can say, even though you don't know if you don't know if it will work out or not, but it is as it, you can say that you did it. I took that leap of faith, and even though it failed, I can say I did it. But
Hmm.
if you succeed in that leap of faith, then sky's the limit.
Yes,
Even
it,
if
it,
you fail,
it
even
really
if you
is.
fail the first time, it wasn't your time. But you
Hmm.
could always take that leap of faith again,
Yep.
because it could work the second time. You never know. And a lot of people be like, who are so scared to take that leap of faith, they play it safe.
Yeah,
And when
research
you
is definitely something. Is If you research something, you never know what you're gonna get out of it. But if you just go into jumping in something without research and making sure things fall into plan, it's
Mhm,
automatically a fail already, because you haven't did your due justice um in trying to find out really what you're supposed to be doing in those
mhm,
steps. And when I'm not gonna lie, but when I first started rapping and putting it out to people,
mhm,
I took a big leap because I didn't have a plan, but my husband had a plan. So that was great because I didn't have a plan at all. I was just like, I'm gonna do this. I honestly, I recorded the first song I wanted to put out on my birthday. In 2000, and I believe it was 2017 or 2000, I think it was 2017 or 2018 when I actually did the first draft of the song.
mhm.
And then I did it again when I came to New York, because I actually did it at my dad's studio in North Carolina for the first
Okay.
time. And he was like, "Okay, we're gonna let her do it for her birthday," and he was like, "Yeah, she ain't gonna stick with it," but I did, and so now I'm here. So I mean, I'm just gonna keep on inspiring. I'm gonna keep on, trying, being a positive light to other people. And I try to, my whole thing with what I'm doing right now is to support other people, to show them that, I mean, I'm a real person at the end of the day. I love comedy. I love, certain horror movies. I love everything about the earth and the world. You know what I mean? And so with that being said, I love everything about the heavens too. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
And so like, people don't may not understand me at times, or why I do certain things, or why I support this or why I support that. But is I'm a human. I'm human at the end of the day. And I make mistakes, just
mhm.
like anybody else makes mistakes. But I also know how to fix a mistake by apologizing about it.
Right.
And so, I just when I see certain things about, PR scandals and, you know, all these different things, I'm just like, wow, like people don't give anybody time. Like
Mhm.
they just automatically judge a book by a cover. And
Right.
I've noticed that, what happens a lot of the times is you can just glance at somebody one time and automatically judge them.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I hate to say the word hate, but I hate that that happens because you don't know what that person has been through. You don't know why they got there. You don't know how they got there.
Hmm.
Um, like just like homeless people, I see homeless people all the time, and I'm like, wow, like I wonder what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because I
Yeah.
don't never want to be like, oh well, I mean, you anybody can be in that position.
I've been in
Anybody
that
can be in that
position.
position. I have been in that position as well, and so that's why I'm like, I never want to put anybody down because you never know how they got there or why they got there and how they can get out of that situation. You never know. $5 could have helped them. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? But some people, yes, they do go and they use it to get alcohol or they get something else. But guess what? That might be their outlet because you didn't want to talk to them.
Right. Right.
That one person can change somebody's life.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's yeah, you mentioned homelessness, and yeah, I know I can speak about homelessness because I was homeless. I was homeless in New York, out of all places, freaking New York. I've been in homeless shelters, and these days,
They don't
it,
care.
no, they don't. They
Mm,
don't care, and it's terrible. Like when I went to a homeless shelter, I once again I was in my abusive relationship, and my daughter's father at the time. Well, by this time, ACS already took my daughter, but that's another story. Um, he was sleeping, and I packed all of my things. And mind you, I'm living in the Bronx.
hmm
I packed all of my things, and I crept out of that apartment. I took a 2-hour ride on a train to this shelter in Brooklyn just so that they can tell me that I have to go back to my apartment in the Bronx because I had a place to live. I said, look, I gotta be here because I am in an abusive relationship. This person is not going to leave this apartment. So it'd be best that I leave
Right.
so he don't kill me.
Right.
But they wasn't trying to hear that. They was like, no, you have a place. You need to go back to your
They'd
place.
rather you go back there, get into a situation where you're about to lose your life for
Hmm.
them to help you. And that is crazy
It
because
is crazy.
it's ridiculous because you shouldn't have to go through all of that. Why not just help me when I can be helped?
Right.
But when I
Exactly.
go back there, I don't know what's gonna happen because I already done left, and the person knows. They
Hmm.
know I left. They that obviously are gonna be upset if I come back. So what do you think is gonna happen? You know,
Yeah.
that's crazy to me.
So I went back to that apartment in the Bronx, and he was still asleep. Right.
Thankfully.
Yeah. Well, about I want to say a few weeks later, I went back to that same shelter in Brooklyn, right,
Hmm.
with my hand bandaged. I said, "This is what happened when you sent me back there." I said, "He smashed my hand with a hammer. That's what happened to me." I told him that they had zero sensitivity, zero compassion, zero,
They
none.
weren't. They never been put in that situation before, so they ain't gonna know how it feel. They don't really care about it because that's not
Right.
them. That's not
No,
their loved one. So they really don't care.
they
And
don't. They
that's the
didn't
the
care.
thing I hate about the system at times is like they're not sensitive to anybody else but them. Like, and then they think they own everything. Like everything.
Mhm.
And so it's like it's so hard to be in a situation at all because you don't know who's gonna really be there to help you.
Mhm. And you know um it was a there was a really, like, I'm like, wow, it just blew my mind how people who are in this position to help people don't want to help people. So I'm like, oh, So you're here for just the paycheck. Got it. You're here because of that sweet paycheck the city is paying you.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Like you really don't give a damn about me at the end of the day. Like I could end up dead, and you could hear about. I mean, I could end up on the news, and I could end up dead, and they could report about my dead body on the news, and you wouldn't care. Like,
Nope.
or they'd be like,
And they
oh,
wouldn't even know. They wouldn't even came open and said that they saw you when you came there because that would get them in trouble.
exactly. That would open up a can of worms. But yeah, I went back to that same shelter with my bandaged hand. And I said, this is what happened when I went back. I said, remember when I came here and I asked you to stay here because I was in an abusive relationship? Yeah, that's what happened when you told me to go back to that apartment in the Bronx. This is what happened. And then they want to tell me, well, this isn't a shelter for a domestic abuse shelter. So what?
It doesn't matter. You
So
if you
what?
can help somebody, help them.
So, yeah. So what? I was looking for refuge, and you didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to give me that refuge.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank, you just didn't want to give me that refuge. Point blank, period. And it's sad. It's very, very
Very
sad.
sad.
You know,
And then you got so many people that's in the system with HRA and all these people, and they failed to forget that COVID was just here. People lost their jobs. People actually were at like kids were out of school for a certain amount of time, and then when they went back to school, some of them same kids were not in school because they got COVID.
hmm
Then you got to mind you, they have other siblings, they have parents, they have grandparents, all these people that they have to go back home to. Mind
hmm
you, they have no protection.
nice.
That it's sick. It's sick that people have to go through so much because somebody didn't care to give them the resources to help them.
And you want to know something wild? When you tell somebody this, they'll say, well, that was good for them because it made them a stronger person. So I have to go through all this shit to be a strong person? No, I shouldn't have to go
That's
through
crazy. But
any
I've heard
hell.
that before. I've heard that before because it's not good for somebody. If you
No,
can
it's
help,
not.
if you have the resources to help that person, help them. Because you never know what, like, the next day they could be lying dead. You
Right.
never know because you have to put yourself in that person's. I mean, I understand that people are not going to put themselves in somebody else's position and think, "Oh, what if I was in that position?" Because
Mhm.
that's not them.
No.
But I always think about that. What if that was me? What would I do? How can I be of assistance to this person? Because I would never want to be in a situation like that and somebody tells me, well, that's good for you. Because I don't know how I would feel. I might not be depressed, I might be angry, and I might hurt somebody. you
hmm
know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you're telling me that's good for me, and I know for a fact that's not good for me because of what I just went through. You know
hmm
what I mean? Like, people are crazy, and it
Yeah.
shows. It shows a lot, especially with the free speech, all of this stuff, the opinions, the comments on people, even with like the Kevin Samuels thing.
Oh, please
It's
don't get me started
like
on
it's
that.
ridiculous. Like, all this stuff is crazy. I mean, and I try not to even be on. I've calmed myself from being on social media so much because it's so much crap that's been put in the air, and nobody cares. Nobody cares.
No.
They just say the first thing that comes to mind because they thought that. And then whenever they go back and they actually really find out the whole back history and what really happened, and then it's like, well, I don't want your pity. It's not
hmm
about the pity. It's about the fact that you automatically had an opinion and you didn't even really want to find out what really happened.
Right. And you know what that reminds me of? T Pain. T Pain. Everybody crapped on T Pain because he wasn't a real singer. Because he was using the
Because he
synth.
was using an auto tune.
Right. He was using auto
Yeah.
tunes. So they figure, well, he made his his money off of auto tune,
Yep.
which is a lie because it didn't start with T Pain. See the I don't know what you call it, but auto tunes like started well. I know the first
They
person,
just had different versions of it.
right. So the first version that I know was started off with this music artist named Roger. I don't know if maybe your dad knows, but he had a song called Computer Love. I want to
Mhm.
be your
Yep.
man.
Mhm. Yep.
And then he did a hook on California Love with Tupac and Dr. Dre.
Yep.
It he started that. I think he started that. And then it just trickled down to generation to generation.
Yep.
And I'm like, why everybody gunning for T Pain? I don't understand. Like why everybody and then when you
But then when
actually
they
hear,
find out that he could really sing,
yeah. And then he's like, everybody's like, oh, you can sing. I didn't know that. And T Pain was like, really? Really?
y'all didn't even never they never asked him. They just automatically assumed because you do auto tune that you can't sing. And that
Right.
was just the sound that he was going for.
Right.
That was the sound he was going for. And I think people, like I said, people get it, the music industry and the entertainment, all of that, they get it twisted because they're automatically looking at it as one thing when you have a sound in your mind that people are not used to, that they feel that, like, if you feel like somebody is gonna be interested in, oh, I'm staying with this sound. That's the sound that they want to stay with. It's for a reason. You know what I mean? Because that we're missing that sound. People haven't heard it before. It's new. It's new. It's unique. And then of course, you're gonna have those people who don't like it, and they're gonna start putting things in the air, and
Mm-hmm.
then that's when it all starts. It
Yeah.
all
I
starts.
mean, I'm like, it's just like it I'm like, why are people gunning for T Pain? Like what? Like why? And it started with his colleagues. I think it was Usher. Usher was like, I forgot what he said, but Usher said something to T Pain, and it just broke him. Like I can't believe Usher said that to me. I looked up to him and stuff like that, and the that's when the whole BS just like completely started. I'm like, wow. I'm like, so they going after T Pain, huh? Like, and what I noticed is that there are some artists that do use that,
But
you
and they
know,
can't sing it all
and they can't sing at
at
all.
all.
But there are some that use it to like to add some flavor to their music. Like with Cher, the song "Believe."
Uh huh.
There's like at the end she uses the auto tunes like it like a not emphasize but to what's the one I'm looking for? I guess to add more flavor
Hmm.
to that hook. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But it worked. But everybody knows that Cher can sing.
Right. Like I said, judging a book by a cover and don't even
Yeah.
know why. And you know what? That stops people from being creative. You know what I mean? It stops the creative cycle because of what they feel like somebody else is gonna say. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I mean that's why I'm glad that I have my own mind. You know what I'm saying? Because if I did not have my own mind and I'd be like, hey, I like this and I like the way that sound and I'm gonna do this on the track.
Mhm.
Because I get a lot. What I get a lot. I can tell you what I get a lot. I get, oh, it sounds like two different people. I did it like that for a reason. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It does because it's me. I did that. I did it this many different times in this way because
Right.
that's how I wanted it to sound. This is the sound that I'm bringing to you. And then
Mhm.
some people might say, "Oh, it sounds more raw." Maybe that's what I'm trying to do.
Mhm.
Maybe this is what I'm bringing to you. You know what I mean? So, I just feel like I don't like the fact that people like to stop people's creative. You know what I'm saying? Their creative flows, and
Mhm.
that's why I could, like, I look at comments. You know what I'm saying? But I haven't gotten to the point where I have people coming to bash me yet. And so
Mhm.
I'm glad I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
but I know that it will come, you know, where people will have an opinion and that their opinion may not be great, you know, and
Mhm.
I have to realize, and I have put myself in that mind frame to know that I know that it's going to happen already, and I'm already in the mind frame. I don't care what you think because I've been
Right.
doing this already. I have, you know, a people that love what I do. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And so I'm going to continue to give them the great music that they love. And if you want
Right.
to jump on board, jump on board. If you don't, go listen to whoever you like.
Hmm.
You know, because music is music and there's music everywhere. And at this point, everybody is talking about kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's that's why I try to bring a different sound, you know, in any way that I can, you know, and be as creative as I can because it's
Hmm.
gonna stick with somebody, you know.
Yeah. And like I said before, one person. It takes one person to be inspired by by your music.
Hmm.
If one person is inspired by your music, you done your job. You done your job. You did it. You
Yep.
did it. So, what is the future in your as a music artist?
As a music artist,
Right.
um, I mean, shoot, I mean, legendary status. I mean, my future. I just want to, like I said, impact a person at a time, and you know, I really not really care about being super popular. You know, I just want to be known. You know, as who I am and what I do,
Hmm.
and what I can bring to the table.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not really caught into. I don't want to be the next. I don't want to be the next big thing. I want to be the next big me. You know, I want to be me. I mean, especially with female artists, as we talked about female artists before. A
Hmm.
lot of times they like to compare us with another female artist. You
Oh
know,
goodness.
and I don't like that because it's like, um, why would you say that I'm sounding like that person because we're talking about something similar? You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And it's crazy because we're all in the same world. We're all going through the same things. We're all, you know, in the same situations, although they may be at different times or in a different light. Of course,
Hmm.
we're going to talk about them, but we may be talking about them a little differently, but that's because that's how we went through it.
Yeah.
Or that's how we want to talk about it. You know? So, you know, I just it just
Yeah.
works my nerve because I'm just like, yo,
It.
like
Yeah.
I'm just like, I mean, I don't want to be like anybody else. I want to just be myself. And yes, we may talk about some of the same things, but we're not the same.
Yeah. Isn't it annoying when somebody says, "Oh, you remind me of a baby," blah blah blah, or or you're like a combination of this person and that person. I'm like,
But it's kind of a compliment in a way.
yeah,
Depending on who it
yeah,
is. Depending on who it
yeah,
is, you'll be like, oh yeah, like cool. Like that's cool because I love this person. So
right,
if I really care about this person's music, it's gonna make me feel even more inspired because now you don't put me in that light of this person. So now I know I got a mix of this. So I'm gonna continue to keep running that up. But I'm gonna make
right,
sure that I always bring myself in every situation because, you know, that's that's just how I feel about it. You know, I just don't like the fact that they always have to compare every female artist or they have to have one female artist. It or it's like, oh, I can only support this one person. I don't understand that. I've never understood why people just support. I support a multitude of female artists. I mean,
mhm,
that's just my opinion because I love the fact that we're females and we're out here grinding. Is
yes,
female empowerment, and we're talking our stuff, and we're doing our thing. But at the same
yeah.
time, yeah, I don't want to be like anybody else, so I don't mind supporting the next female artist.
I
I
and
want to
I
be
think
able to say that yeah, this artist is doing their thing, but I'm doing me.
right,
You know,
and
so.
I think it's very profound you say that because we unfortunately we as women we don't support each other, but we should. We should support each other. It's like we're always in competition with each other, and we shouldn't be. And it's like as women, we're like crabs in a barrel. We're like we're trying to claw to the top, but it's always somebody trying to pull us down, and it really, that really sucks. Instead of inspiring each other and encouraging each other and empowering each other, we're tearing each other down, and it shouldn't be that way. And we're all fighting the same goal. But if you're that type of person who feels that I'm gonna make that goal before you, then there's something wrong with you.
Hmm. I mean, with me, like I've started to create like it's called the Brazy Squad, where I have a whole lot of females, but not only females, also males, but mainly it's a whole lot of females who all we all just find a way to support each other. And so that could be a dancer, that could be another artist, that could be, a hairstylist, a makeup artist, that but we're all supporting each other, and I just like to lift up other people because you never know what somebody's been through the night
That's
before.
right.
You know what I mean? And I just try to pride myself in checking on people. And I know it bothers people sometimes when you got somebody just like, hey, how you doing today? You know what I'm saying? But I don't have that. If
Right.
I don't have that, I feel like it's great to be able to build with somebody to where you can actually have somebody that can say that, hey, this person actually cares. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
it's not no clout stuff. I'm not on social media trying to say that. No, I want to know how you really doing
Right.
because I don't know. Like, we could wake up tomorrow and this person be gone, and then I
Exactly.
never had a conversation with you, and it's
Exactly.
crazy. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me that people never have a conversation with somebody but automatically judge them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad, but yeah. So we're about to conclude this conversation, this lovely conversation. But before we do that, do you have any parting words for our other visitors?
Um, I just want to say shed light and love on the next person because you never know what they've been through. I feel like, you know, it's always a pleasure to be around somebody who's been through something because you never know how inspired you might get. And give flowers to those people who need the flowers now because you don't know if you're gonna be able to give them the flowers later. Um, you know, I mean that's pretty much all I have to say. And I want to shout out my manager, and I want to shout out my team. Also Empress Empire Entertainment, KLC the drum major, um, Dre Golston, bass heavy, um, full pack music mixed by Laura G. Just a couple of people who have inspired me and worked with me thus far. Sean Trey, and Nelly Pro Tools as well. I mean, so many people. Um, but 87 Music Group has pushed me as well. DreamX, which is my husband, and also my dad who is also being who's come around as well and is keeping me inspired as well. So it's a lot of people, but I appreciate everybody who has come around and supported me, even if it's just by a little bit. So I and thank you for having me on to this interview
Oh, thank
today.
you for being
Although we
on.
had to push it back a little bit, we here.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. It's okay. It's
But
okay.
I appreciate you asking me to come on to the interview and having a real conversation. Because
Absolutely.
sometimes that's not had and it goes into other things. But I appreciate you.
Well, it's all about, you know, being comfortable and being real and being raw. This
Hmm.
isn't this isn't edited. It is uncut. It is real. We're having a real conversation, and it's all about being yourself. At the end of the day. So that concludes our show, The World of Oz and Pearl. I'd
Oh,
like to think,
one more thing.
yeah.
Make sure that y'all follow me at It's Brazy Luca. Also on YouTube it's Brazy Luca Music. Um and on all social sites it's Brazy Luca. ITSBRAZYLUCA.
All right, y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? Okay. All right. Follow her on IG and other social medias like Twitter. Where else you on?
Everywhere.
YouTube.
It's TikTok. I'm pretty much everywhere. It's Brazy Luca is what I try to go by unless it's taken, and I hope nobody don't try to take my name now. So
Get that copywritten and
yes.
yeah, trademark.
Mhm.
All, Okay, y'all. So that concludes our visit to the world of Aja Pearl. I'd like to thank the Queen, music artist, Brazy Luca, for gracing us with her presence.
I
Okay. All right, y'all. This is the world of Aja Pearl. It's my world. And thank you for stopping by. Good night.
thank you.